Yo, what up, Internet?
Internet.
Welcome
What's up, Internet?
to Bricks and Beer, episode 50, the big 5-0.
This is 50? Whoa.
Cheers, homies.
We're time traveling. I'm gonna record 49 after this. Thanks for spoiling it, Morrow.
We're trying to help you out, dude.
Yeah.
We're
So
all OCD.
everybody's freaking out, and we're drinking some beer. We're in Seattle. We're not on a rooftop. We could be there, but it's cold and windy.
It rained a little bit too
Shitty.
today, so
Yeah.
yeah, no, thank you.
So we're in the executive suite here at the Maxwell.
The Godfather room.
Yes. We were going to be in another room with a really shitty painting behind us instead of this white thing. For some reason, the dude here is like obsessed with Carmen Sandiego.
Yeah.
You notice that girl's
Yeah.
like in every painting. Weird.
Not this one. This painting actually kind of sucks.
Yeah, it's terrible. Anyway, so there's no plan for this, like always. We are here in Seattle doing the thing. We brought some stuff. We can talk about that. That's probably good.
Yeah, should probably introduce everybody.
Oh, that's probably a better idea.
Sure.
I guess the internet, if you've watched the rest, have seen everybody except for this guy, who I've known
I've
for
never
fucking
been on here.
10 years, but it's your first time.
Yeah, I'm Brandon Griffith.
B minus.
B minus.
Correct.
Yeah, I'm sure there's been references.
Yeah, to be
Probably
minus.
in the
Sure.
past, yeah.
And then we got Morrow. Say hi, Morrow.
Hi, Morrow.
My boy Aaron. Say what's up.
What's up?
Carter. Philly boy. Unofficial co-host.
Cheers.
You know him. And and then we're drinking some beers. We only have 2 beers. I got them at the store here. They're local beers. This one is the Fremont Universal Pale. You can't see that because I'm fucking super far away. It's a good beer. Aaron had some of these in his fridge last night. And,
Fucking delicious.
Drank a bunch of them, so it seemed appropriate. And then you're drinking the Session. The Estilo Mexicano Cerveza.
Yeah.
Sion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's I like
It's,
it.
it labels itself as a Mexican beer. It doesn't taste very Mexican. It tastes a little richer than Mexican beer.
Okay.
I expected it to be watermelon from the label.
Yeah.
Oh, well, because we had the watermelon one last
Yeah,
night.
I looked a lot like
Yes.
that.
And I'm drinking one of the Maxwell Hotel's specialty BrickCon Lego-themed drinks. This is a Brick Smash, which is the active ingredient is vodka, and the rest of it is jam. As you can see.
It has like some sort of wacky berry.
There's a
right?
berry, a Marion berry, which is one word, which is why I didn't realize reading it. That's the name of the dude, the crack smoking mayor of.
Is this where Munchkins being held?
No,
No.
Munchkins in the other room.
So there's a thing over there.
One. That's the first time.
That's a funny joke now. The next 5 times it happens, it's going to be less funny.
Is there a long way to lock it at all?
I mean, you can just put a chair in front of the door.
Actually, just leave it. It'd be good comedy.
Yeah,
whatever.
Exactly.
We'll start throwing shit.
I'm drinking the greatest beer ever made.
3 beers at the table.
America's finest. The
Your
Budweiser Light, also known as Bud Light. Cheers.
Also known as B
Cheers.
minus.
Yeah.
How did this become your name exactly?
Ask
Fredo.
him. Or was it Fredo?
Yeah, it's Fredo. It was the Flies in the Eyes year. Because you went and
God,
drank
that was
the
like
last year of Bud
2009.
Light, and you were like, no, it's fine, it's Bud Light. And he was like, no, there's sober kids in Africa. And you started yelling about flies in the eyes.
Yeah, I was trying to make the argument that, yes, the bottom portion is like water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he was
I mean, the whole beer.
not having
The
it.
whole beer is water.
Yeah, to Fredo.
To
Fredo.
Shout out to Fredo.
Snakes.
So that's all the beverages. There's been more beverages consumed. There'll be more to consume. I do have some other beers, which if you watch these in order, I will already know. Which are really cool. So we'll talk about that in the past.
AKA the future.
Yeah. The timeline's
That's so fitting
complicated.
to the theme of the convention.
Oh, I guess that's true.
That's right.
It's brick to old school. What is that?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, like, how badly do you want to say brick to the future?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
rules so much better.
Yeah.
All the badly. Yeah.
Mhm.
And I completely forgot the theme. Every time I jumped back onto the website for some reason, I was like, oh yeah, this.
We were speculating. So one of the things they did last night is they covered all the prizes. Every night there is basically like some sort of bullshit that you have to attend. There's like a keynote or opening ceremonies or something. But the thing they do to keep you sane is they give you a bunch of free Lego, right? So like you sign up and they scan your little bullshit badge, and then like you sit there and talk shit with all your friends and look for your names when they come up. So last night they had all the prizes covered, and I was talking to them I think it was you, and I was like, what if they all the prizes are vintage Lego sets? Like that would be amazing.
Yeah.
That would have been fucking amazing. Because there's a dealer here who supposedly bought a container on auction. Were you telling me this?
Yeah, I think that
Number two.
Number two.
Guy.
Good job,
This is
Guy.
where-
Wrong room.
Guy.
Wrong room,
Guy.
dude.
Guy.
Guy. No.
Guy.
Yo, guy.
Shut
Wrong
the
room.
door.
You're over there.
You guys naked in here?
Yes. Oh, all right. Fucking Guy Himber.
I'm putting a chair out there.
Oh, leave it.
All right.
Number three.
Go for it.
Next time it'll be.
Welcome to YouTube, where 6 people shout guy at the screen.
Yeah. But you think for a guy named Guy, he would respond to that?
Yeah, even if
Fucking
not.
guy.
You should call him man. Boy.
Dude.
Dude,
Does he
Guy,
not
dude.
respond to guy?
Man,
Because
boy.
people are calling some other generic person?
probably.
Mm.
Like, fuck you, Guy.
So continue that
Anyway,
story.
the container.
The way I heard it was that someone else bought the container, like did a blind buy of the container. It was unopened, and they opened it up, and there were a bunch of opened but still in the boxes, like unplayed with sets from the 70s,
Wow.
like pre-minifig era.
Yes.
Wow.
I mean,
And
those sets
so-
kind of suck, also.
They,
like,
yes, they kind of do.
I
Some
don't,
of
I
them.
don't have the
Yeah.
nostalgia factor.
Yeah.
They
Right.
don't appeal to me.
Yeah,
That dude does have
but-
a really nice selection of stuff.
Yeah.
And we were
Yeah.
talking to him because he has 2 Megacore magnetizers,
Mm.
which he's charging 2 bills for, which I'm like, oh, that's a gut punch.
Yeah.
But he's like, yeah, whatever you guys want. If you're into classic, I have a store here, so just tell me and I'll bring it. I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't want to spend
And charge you a
$500.
premium.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
And fucking deal
There's
with
a guy
it.
around the corner there who has a like mint and sealed box Dark Forest.
I was eyeing that.
He wants like 500 for it or
Yeah.
something.
Jesus.
Fuck.
I had to look at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what bugs me about those vendors is they really stab it. I mean, they really freaking just
Yeah, yeah.
Like you can buy all this stuff online, cheap.
Yeah. Well, I don't
And then
like
just, like,
buy
really-
sets necessarily.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
my favorite thing to buy at cons is just like, here's a dude and he has fucking 500 Ziplocs with parts in them. And
Mhm.
you're just like,
I don't know, the Rock Raiders I got for like $20 was like
yeah,
pretty jive.
yeah. That guy was priced to me. There's some good shit out
I've
there.
spent about $150 on minifigures.
Surprise! Surprise!
I mean, we're not necessarily the target market for these people anyway.
Oh, yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
sure
yeah.
we're like maybe 5% of their sales for this
Yeah.
weekend.
Where they
It's-
full, so.
Yeah, it's like the 10 hours of public that come through every day.
Yeah.
And, kids looking at Lego for 2 hours straight and just
Mhm.
like, obviously they have
I
to have
demand
it.
that you
Yeah.
buy me
Yeah.
something,
Yeah, thank you,
mommy.
that was bothering me. Live and uncut.
Yeah, excellent videography,
Yeah.
just
I
like
like
mine.
sushi.
Photography skills. So the con's pretty rad. It's Saturday right now, so we're well into the weekend. I didn't go to public hours at all today because I was hungover and didn't want to deal with it, but you fuckers did.
Yeah,
No,
I did.
I did.
Killing it.
I skipped.
That's good.
It was
Oh.
so crazy that they extended it an extra hour.
It was crowded. I saw
That's why
So an
there's
extra hour of hell.
when
Oh,
I walked
God.
in at like 10:15, both the 10 o'clock and 12 o'clock tickets had all been sold.
It's good
They were-
for
they
the
were-
show, but then
Yeah.
at the same time, I'm like, oh god.
It's how you have to pay the bills, though.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where all the free Lego comes from.
Yeah.
True
Yeah.
that.
I'm
True
down
that.
with that. So, thank you, BrickCon.
Yeah.
Public, bring your ankle biters.
To BrickCon.
To BrickCon.
Free Lego. Bacon and to
To
BrickCon.
being everyone's favorite holiday.
Yeah, pretty much.
Right.
Yeah, this is what it's all about. And it's like doing the display. I guess we should talk about that eventually. But like the best part of this whole experience for me is like eating breakfast at like a cafe with you fuckers, and, like getting harassed by the waitress,
Yeah.
and then like the after hours hangout, chill part.
So, 1:30 in the morning, just sitting around a table with a bunch of weird Lego.
Yeah,
Everybody's
Just dry ice.
trying to figure it out.
There's an actual dry ice story.
And so the fucking mask is amazing. I missed you guys actually building it, but there's a boat hole that we got via Tommy, and Who actually like built the mask?
Brom,
Brom built
That
the
was
mask.
Dr. Brom.
Wow, yeah. It's this like intense tiki mask, and there's a photo I took of Brom with it that is terrifying. which
Link
is
to it
great.
in the bottom.
Yeah.
See if I say that, he has to do more work.
Yeah.
How about I just bring it up while you guys talk?
Oh, this is even better. Less work for me.
But continue, please.
We're still recording. I'm just making sure that the fucking
Yeah,
thing is
yeah.
going.
Like Uncut.
All right, good.
I've had like massive technical problems with this laptop because it's a different trackpad than the old one, so I've like fucked up recording multiple times.
Yeah.
It's just-
And sitting here doing this, talking to you when you're not here is weird.
It's very strange.
Yeah.
It is
Yeah.
very strange.
It does not feel like time well spent. So cheers to you for showing up. We hope.
Yeah. So I guess we should talk about the display after fucking Mario finds this terrifying photo.
You want to do this one and then I can segue?
Sure. Yeah.
Sure.
There we go.
Oh man, I guess that does explain it.
Here's Dr. Brom.
There's Dr. Brown
With his
and
tiki
tiki mask.
1:30 a.m.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Friday night. Yep.
And the 10 years thing is this year is the 10th year I've done a Lego convention, which is fucking wild. It makes me feel old as fuck, which sucks, but it's also fun. And like I met Brom 10 years ago, so I yell about gross point blank shit constantly. So anyway, we did a display. We were gonna do something easy. If you watched the last one, you know it's Exo Nights. You guys just want to talk about the shit you built since I've only talked about my shit?
Sure.
All right.
Yeah, I built a big axe ship. I started later than I intended to, and it was hastily constructed and not very well thought out and extremely heavy. But it looks pretty much exactly like I wanted it to look when I started, so I'm psyched about that. And I got an ultraviolet strip light underneath, like behind a big long row of trans fluorescent orange 2x2 bricks, and that's like the front edge of the axe. Because I wanted Axel to have a ship that looked like an axe, but I also wanted it to be a ship that could be used as an axe.
It's 100 studs wide,
It's 104 studs wide.
Uh-huh.
so it's massive.
And
Yeah,
it was
Like,
built
you
in
could
September.
decapitate a human.
Like 2 humans at once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. If they were already mostly decapitated by something sharp,
Yeah.
or if the laser axe part of it actually worked, but that's for the next con.
Yeah.
But the fun part that made it sort of an easy thing was I decided right away that I wasn't going to bother enclosing somebody in a cockpit. I was just going to have Axel in a mech, riding the top of the ship. Like I was going to have the mech driving the ship, and then he's operating the mech. And then I went a step further because Axel's such a big, bulky figure, I couldn't get at any of the trans red canopies and trans neon orange canopies I have around him, so I just made it an open top thing. Which is funny because now it looks like it's a mech with a super tiny head, like a minifig head, driving this crazy, like Harley Davidson axe blade shit. So it worked out pretty good. There's some bald spots in the build because last minute, and maybe I'll tweak that and show it off in Bricks LA. I think that's the plan.
I really like what you did with the feet of the mech.
Oh, yes, that's true. Let's talk about that. Yeah. So this is actually my first brick build mech. I've made mechs in Spirit, but they're based on Hero Factory frames or Throwbot parts.
Barnacle.
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 Right. So I built the mech, and I use this. It's all bright light orange because that's Axel's theme color. And I've been hoarding bright light orange for some purpose, and I love the G1 Bionicle foot piece, and that's what the feet are in that color. And so I'm like, here he is. I think it's done. I send the pics out to the crew, and both this one.
I waited. I was like, should I say something?
So he
And I
says
was like,
something
it's
and-
gonna fucking kill me if I don't.
Yeah, he's like the mech builder in me. It's not me. It's the mech builder in me who I can't
get some
get the
shields up.
Yeah. Wants the feet to be bigger.
Yeah.
And then Zach chimes in with pretty much the same message. And then you found some sketches on the internet of like the evolution of anime and how giant robots were drawn with
Yeah,
really
it's
big
the
feet.
super robot aesthetic.
Yeah.
It's to give it the extreme perspective
Like
from the
your-
ground looking up at the thing. So the feet are always flared and gigantic. It's
Yep.
basically like all your classic
The RX-78.
or
Gundams.
Mazinger Z,
Yeah.
like any the really
Yeah.
OG Shogun Warriors kind of shit.
Well, and then to kind of they said all this stuff, and I gave some back sass, because at that point you said, I see Bionicle and I think toy. And I was like, you're a toy, like, me and Axel don't have to cater to your biases or whatever, And then I spent the next 5 or 6 hours when I was supposed to be like being a dad and being a husband. I kept nipping off the thing. I'm like, oh, show those fuckers. I'm the best fucking brick-built feet they ever saw. But early on, I have a ton of the 1x1 pyramid pieces in silver. My buddy Ethan hooked me up with 100 of them, so I was trying to think of a good way to use this. And since I had to make these brick-built feet, I started at the bottom. I was like, what if those were pointing down, like, hobnail boots or whatever,
Yeah.
golf shoes,
Cleats.
so I built I built the whole thing studs down and worked it out, and I had to cannibalize Wally to get the thing, but I went for I grabbed an old Micronauts toy, Biotron, who's sort of this clunky robot, but he has these disco boots like you wouldn't believe. And the main thing is it's like the top of it's like a cowboy boot thing, so there's the top of the foot and then the toe is like a distinct pointy part. And I wasted a whole bunch of time trying to make the toe articulated, and then gave up on that, and then just gave him these fucking disco boots.
It's cool the way your fig is mounted too, to where you can see the bottom of the feet.
Right, yeah.
Because it's like as awesome as that is, like most of the time
Yeah.
nobody ever sees
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Like, it's the way he's riding it like a bike. It's pretty fucking metal.
But that was, there was a point where I was just like, no, I can't remember like which voice was saying what, but I was like, no, go do homework with Zach, or go. And the other voice was like, no, this, like, it's a couple of days, it's like 2 weeks before con, and your buddies are on your ass to fix something, and what you're gonna do is you're gonna fucking fix it, because this is the best, like, shit right here.
And sometimes I feel weird about that, because like Zach always wants fucking feedback. Like in the text chain that's fucking firing off all the time, he's always like, what do you guys think about this? And then everybody fucking fires back, and I go like, wow, I don't have to worry about like fucking hurting his feelings here. I can just give him feedback. It's like, yeah, it's awesome. But then I always worry, like I send something out, I'm like, man, am I gonna get lit up like for a correct reason? And usually when you get some sort of tweak, like Keith, the first thing he said to me when I showed him the sword, he was like, the handle's too short. And I was like, fuck, you're right. God damn it! Like I'm gonna have to do some work now, and it's like that's it.
Right.
It's a risk that you take, but it's like super healthy, that back and forth. It's cool to watch shit evolve. So I saw Maro's shipment process, and I saw Jeff's shipment process, but I didn't see, and I saw Aaron's.
I was like texting you.
But I didn't see either of these guys. So why don't one of you go? You want
me to go?
Yeah.
Sure.
All right.
Yeah.
So,
Keep symmetrical.
So all these guys got all the main characters of the Nexo-Knights, and I was assigned Chef Bot.
no, you picked Chef.
You're right. Yeah.
You were pumped about.
Well, there wasn't many options left. I was like,
Yeah.
Chef Bot seems interesting. So I ran with it. I basically took the Lego baguette piece, blew it up 106 studs long.
Sideways.
Sideways. Well, originally it was going to be long, and then it looked too.
It's definitely a giant.
So I turned it sideways, like it really was. I was kind of thinking of was the ships from Dune, like the 1984 Dune.
Oh, yeah.
And then it was like the cylinder that that moves. And then so I was like, all right. So I was originally just going to have like this piece of bread and just like a little dome and just like one Chef Bot sticking out the top, and then it just evolved into this like, okay, I'm gonna put a little, like, I basically just made the cheapest looking like glass in front. And I was thinking like, okay, these guys are utility, right? They're here to like feed the troops. They're not really like, maybe they're like got their own agenda on the side or something like that. And so basically I built out the entire center section is a kitchen. And literally, I just went to town because it looks fun. So there's an interior.
Okay, from the little amount of time I spent at the table today, it's getting the most attention.
Oh, really?
People fucking. You lit too.
Yeah, like what? Bread? Yeah. And so like the idea was I was thinking, okay, these dudes are robots, so they don't need bathrooms, they don't need places to sleep. There's a shit. All they're gonna do is cook. And excuse me.
Throw some right there.
So they have their main cooking area. I also decided like, okay, they need little fighters to kind of go with it.
Mhm.
And the main thing the chef bot comes with is what? A frying pan. So like the frying pan was my little fighter, and I made 4 little fighters, and then they just kept going. I just could not stop myself, and I was like, okay, so the fighters have to come out of the end of the bread now. I just a docking course, and then I put the top of the bread and like the parts where you cut into the bread when it bakes. I was like, oh, I gotta make.
Dude, that's my favorite
Tan,
part.
and I got
is
my
that there's
gribbles,
greebles in the fucking like roast marks or
Yeah.
whatever.
Aaron, could you tap the track up?
Yeah, it's going.
It's fine. It's fine.
So at what point did the actual chef character come about?
So I was like, okay, so I found all these chef bots online, bought them, and then I was like, okay, I am a huge Gordon Ramsay fan, and I was like, I wonder, and I shoved like this tan hair piece that looks just like his hair on there, and it looked okay because it's still like the mustache. The chef has that mustache. I went to the Lego movie, my Lego movie figs, and they had all those robot cops and stuff there.
yeah.
There's one that looked just super pissed off. So I took that head and stuck the hair. So yeah, we have. So the name of the ship is White Bread 1. As a shout out to Fredo as well. And the captain is Captain GR Chef Bot, Gordon Ramsay Chef Bot.
Nice.
That's awesome, dude.
And I didn't show any of these. I mean, I texted you two.
Right.
Yeah,
Like-
but like all I saw was a giant fucking, it was like a kind of shitty photo where I could tell it was like under fluorescent lighting, so you can't tell what color this thing is at all. And it's just this huge tube, and I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ, what is
But
this?
then I'm like, wait, there's a chef bot right there. That thing is huge.
Yeah, it was like it took like a while to process the scale of how big this thing fucking was.
It's pretty damn heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it 100 cents?
It's 106
Nice.
from tip to tip. Yeah.
And it's just
Just had to stick it to it.
it's massive.
Yeah.
It's massive.
And it has some girth.
It's
pretty good.
It's kind of beautiful. I don't know, Brandon didn't know what I was talking about, but there's a painter named Frank R. Paul who did a lot of the Amazing Stories pulp sci-fi covers back in the early 20th century. And these like super streamlined ocean liner like spaceships. And you just stick a bunch of portholes on the side of that and make it like a different fucking color, and you have exactly one of those. Yeah. But yeah, it's the bread's getting the most attention at what I saw from the public today. And the other thing that's happening is that people are ticking down
The
weapons.
cast,
The
yeah,
cast, you know.
yeah.
There's Axel, there's Clay,
Yeah.
there's Lance on his horse with his lance, there's Macy with her mace.
There's one other thing that I see getting taken a lot of pictures of, Jeff, by the way, and that's your DJ bot.
Ah,
yeah.
The Doof Warrior?
Yeah.
I early on also decided to add a robot. There's the first time you got an Axel, I think you turned it into this robot. And
Yeah.
It was Dronuary, wasn't it?
I think so. I think that was for January, yeah.
And
I had a couple of axles for some reason, and I was like, I got an extra one. I gotta fuck around with this.
Wow.
And I bricklinked the parts to make another one for this because in the comment I made on Flickr, I was like, I'm going to do that with my Axel as soon as I have one. And I just decided to make, like, early on in the idea of concept of this, I was like, he's going to be in the front, he's going to have speakers around him, and he's going to be the DJ. So it's going to be like, I just thought Axel would actually probably be in the vanguard of this fleet, potentially, at least during parts of the attack wave, he'd just take the front and, like, blast scary music, you know?
Yeah,
and
imagine
oh,
just
crap.
cutting spaceships in half.
Yeah,
like,
exactly. Just
like
kind of
clearing
like
the way.
banking so you can tag motherfuckers with the chips, you know? This big Harley.
So speaking of metal as fuck, I didn't know what
Yeah.
card it was. I knew
Yeah.
the character, but then you rolled up.
So
and fucking-
yeah, Murloc is sweet. Murloc is a holographic ghost wizard. Next to Knights. And yeah, I was really stoked that he wasn't claimed yet when I got in. So yeah, he's a holographic ghost wizard. So like, what the fuck do you do with that? Like, it's already the best. So he's got this like really like ethereal base because he's coming out of a hologram projector, and I wanted to like get that. So it's all mixel hinges on the bottom, and
All
like
like tiling or whatever, and that one image of him.
yeah. So
pixelation.
like
Digital,
like
right.
real blocks, yeah. So like I wanted like an ethereal base, and there's a lot of cool Warhammer 40k stuff happening right now. There's like there are all these new models, and I don't play it because fuck that game. But like all the design is really cool, and it's super metal and just over the top. So Grimdark, yeah. So I like the mages on Mars, the tech priest guys, and they've got like all these like mecha dendrites. Yeah.
Damn, mages on Mars. I just
Yeah.
That's a good couple of words.
Metal
Yeah,
as
right.
fuck.
Like everything, like find like a chunk of like text about Warhammer. It's just like, oh man, it's just getting better. It's just like they fight like a dragon, and it's also like ghost code, and like it's a whole thing. So anyway, I pulled from that a lot with Murloc, and like it was basically built out of like 4 pieces. It's like mixels, and then like the new slope pieces that they have for Next Knights.
The
wedges, the wedges are just awesome. They're these.
Brick linked a ton of those.
Yeah. Yeah, so I just, kind of staggered and piled all those, and then threw like a skull with a flaming holographic ghost beard on top with like a wizard.
The
on top
fire
of that.
beard is super
The
rad.
firebeard's great. The
Yeah.
hat is great. I think there's that other weird wedge piece that has a big gap in the middle. It's like a big V.
Yeah,
You've got like those sort of plated sequins with a
They want like a
mounted
robe
curvy
sort of
thing.
effect, but
Yeah,
I want to be
it
a battle
reads.
Murloc.
It's
so-
sort of like Orko if Orko was metal as fuck.
Okay, I don't know who Orko is.
He's from He-Man. He's that little floating ghost wizard.
No,
Big.
shit. There's nothing like that.
Well,
Orko if he were a fucking
if
badass.
Orko was
fuck.
metal.
That's an interesting leap.
Yeah.
But it reminded me of Tetsuo the Iron Man, that
Oh,
crazy
yeah.
Japanese movie I fell asleep during. But the part that when I was awake, it was sort of like I'm the blob, but made of metal and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it's one of the we've sort of agreed that any knowledge of the actual show next to us isn't really helping us.
It's pretty irrelevant.
Because
Yeah.
I think I watched 2 episodes with my kid. And
I watched
then-
half an episode in Korean because it was on YouTube.
But the one thing I do like, and you took total advantage of here, is that in the beginning this thing happens and Murloc winds up being a person who's a person into a person who's in a computer, and there's never any discussion of that being a reversible process. It's really
like you're the machine spirit now.
yeah, it's for like that's great, but you're dead. Like he really is
He's the
Ghost Wizard. What are you saying?
Holographic Ghost.
Holographic Ghost Wizard. That's
Yeah.
it. So there's this element of fury in your mech that I
Yeah,
absolutely
oh,
love.
yeah.
So, like, I'm
Yeah.
leveling up, bitches!
Yeah.
And it's like I'm all organic tech, which is a little bit like more advanced, of course. 'cause
Yeah.
Well, and the chain usage on like the tentacle.
Well, I mean, they're space knights. I had to like have
Yeah.
the knights keep the knights in the space. Yeah.
I wanted to actually. That was one thing I fell short on. I wanted to get some chains on my thing,
I got a lot of extra chains. You can throw.
but I might do that. I might do that tonight.
I took a lot of influence from you because when we first started talking about this, before I started building the Macy Meg, somebody had talked to you and they were like, "No, Carter's like 40K."
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah. I
you
think
texted me.
I think
You were
Zach
like,
maybe like talked to me first.
"Oh,
about it.
maybe that was it."
Yeah.
He was like, "Carter's going with a 40K vibe," and I was like, "Oh shit! Like that makes total
Yeah,
sense."
well, the whole theme is just Mark Stafford's love letter to 40K.
Yeah,
It's Knights
yeah.
in space. All the elements like fit to different like styles of like design they've
Okay.
had. Yeah.
Somebody said to me that there were leaked images for 2018 Exonet stuff, and I
I
thought
haven't seen any of it.
that it was dying.
Supposedly spring. Didn't you say
I
there's?
think there's one more way.
Spring-
No, I did see
Oh,
leaked
really?
stuff. Or maybe
Yeah.
there's leaked stuff from last week. I don't remember.
There's probably a delay from when they decide to cut something.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it,
Well, I think all the images
Takes
that
so long
were
to get
leaked
something
were
correct.
the
Lame
confidential watermark, like
yeah,
the
real
things
blur
aren't
ones.
finalized.
Yeah.
All this is super prototype.
Yeah.
I haven't even seen it.
I mean, I hope it sticks around because it is
Yeah.
one of my fucking favorite themes.
It's
But
yeah.
it's the
That's why we did this.
it's
Yeah.
the going to the like you don't want to actually really follow the fluff of it. I think that's what makes it fun.
Yeah.
I mean, I have this philosophy of don't talk to the hot girl because it'll ruin the fantasy. Like we had this long conversation about Angelina Jolie, I think last night or whatever. But like the point being, like you doing your own thing with it is so much cooler than just being like, well, in episode X, whatever
Mhm.
this happens, and I have to fucking be faithful to that.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it was fucking rad, dude. You pulled that thing out, and I was like, oh fuck
Yeah, I
yes!
built it in like 3 nights before the
Dude,
game.
and it's sizable. It's not
Yeah.
a small thing. It's
Yeah, yeah.
fucking it
It's all-
holds its
Yeah.
own with the
Yeah.
rest of the shit.
We should take pictures and give it a specific hashtag and add a link to the hashtag so people can actually see
Stop
what we're
making me
talking
do
about.
it, dude.
Well, I feel like we're talking about things
About
that no
things
one's,
without
that
visuals,
no one's
yeah.
gonna fucking see.
No, there'll
Yeah.
be photos.
Yeah.
I'll post at least one photo of the group display and link it below.
Let's do like a flyby and then like add it to the end.
Yeah. We could. I mean, like, I could do some extra work and stitch something to the back of this that maybe I'll do. I don't know.
Or maybe we just carry your laptop to the hall right
Yeah, you'll get that. You'll get
Full
the
line.
4 block Seattle.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it would be kind of
Live and uncut, super boring.
Yeah.
Some of those walks are fun though, because like there's some weird shit. Like you're walking around, like everybody's wearing fucking dorky Lego tees.
Imagine.
Yeah, and you get some interesting interactions with the locals sometimes. But Seattle's fucking rad. Like it's always a good time.
Fucking love it
We
here.
haven't
man.
talked about your guys'
Yeah, so
Yeah,
we should cover all the bases. You
I
want to
think
go,
we've
Shambo?
been going back and
Alright,
forth,
alright.
so
I decided to take there's kind of next one is kind of treads this line between like wacky and also like awesome, like serious. Well, not, I mean, wacky can be awesome too, but like there's a serious side and a wacky side, and I feel like I went a little more on the serious side than some of these other guys, rather than go. So my character was Lance, who is Lance a lot, and he's the guy because Lance is in his name. Obviously, he rides a horse, robot horse, and stabs people with a big long stick. So I decided to build a ship that I thought was cool, that was inspired by the concept of horses and tilting with a lance and a shield and stuff.
Yeah,
So,
I don't think a Lance ship would have.
yeah, like I could have built
Yeah.
Well, like,
a
yeah.
giant lance.
It already was like a dick measuring contest,
Right.
unintentionally. But
Right.
like, I felt like if that was gonna be if you were gonna go for the biggest ship, like Lance should have it.
Like
It's
just like
6
4
feet
wide.
long. Yeah,
so
it's
right
like
on the
a.
block, yeah.
I didn't feel like doing that.
That would be.
So my ship, I kind of sculpted the cockpit to kind of look like a horse head, and it's got a big, rail gun down one side, which is, the lance, and then the other side has like this big armor piece, which has cool chevrons, which I like chevrons. Like always, I kind of got carried away and had to add some motorized functions, which ended up distracting a lot from the final build because I spent so much time trying to figure out how I could make horse leg shaped landing gear that would actually lift a good 30 pounds of Lego, however much ended up being packed into this thing. It turns out 2 XL motors was not enough power to lift the final version. But there's like a hatch at the back that comes down.
Yeah, you have a motorized drawbridge.
The
off
kids
the
loved it.
Gears, which is fucking
Yeah,
rad.
yeah.
And you were motoring around during public day.
I had some fun in public
Yeah,
today.
it's
Yes,
awesome.
I turned it on and just kind of like sat in the back with the remote and kind of like.
There's always the moment with like your builds where like we hang out on these video chats and like Mario goes, well, I'll show you what I did, and he grabs some fucking motor switch and like you see a Technic frame and then it does 5 things and you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
It's a good time.
Yeah, I made a point of bringing other mocks this year that did not actually have any tech. Like I forced myself to build something that didn't have technic functions in it, just to prove that I could and still be relevant.
Yeah, I really like the shield part. Like once you added that, I was like, oh man, now it like balances, it makes sense.
yeah, the chevrons read really well.
Yeah.
I'm pretty happy with that.
Yeah, all those
Yeah.
angles are beautiful.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I love the interior detailing a lot also.
I did have to do an interior.
It's like it's fully fleshed out.
It was intended to be an even more expanded interior, but I'm happy with what I got.
I love this like compulsive element to all these stories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I can't do this.
there's-
I had to
There's
do
a
this.
slight.
They told me they didn't like the
element
feet, and I had to make better fucking feet.
Yeah. Well, and there's sort of like, it's not competition by any means, but there is sort of an unofficial thing where you're like, oh, I'm doing this with these other guys, and I know they're going to bring this certain level.
Yeah.
So, like, I got to be at kind of the same.
You can't really go back, right? The first impression is,
Yeah.
you know, like, boom!
I feel like I underperformed, like, but I had like sort of.
You did fine.
Well, see, the thing is,
sweet play function.
well, I did do play features. So, like, so Aaron, I got Aaron, and his thing is like shooting stuff. He's the shooty guy. So I got this piece from Lug Support that's like Vitruvius's staff, but in trans neon orange. And I was like, oh, this looks like an arrowhead. So I made a bunch of those, and then I made like a gravity-fed, like semi-auto ballista.
I'm still waiting for you to shoot somebody in the face with that.
I'll try. It doesn't go very far. Like the problem is so I built a like Aaron mech to sit sort of like in front of it. But the problem is like the first one usually clips the back of the mech's head, goes, and then the rest of them go. So like it can shoot 8 like
Don't talk
Like,
to the hot girl.
it can shoot. Yeah, it can shoot 8 Nexo arrows concurrently, which is kind of cool. But like I didn't start until like after my wedding,
Yeah.
which was the end of August. I got married, and like I'm not fucking building Lego like in the like month and a half leading up to your fucking wedding. So I built that, and because it like runs on a Technic beam and it has to drop down, it needed a lot of clearance on the bottom. So I made like a rolling ballista with sort of like a castle facade that's basically hollow enough to take the beam, and then the front. After seeing Andrew's dick ship, like I'm not gonna call it a sword, although I could call it a sword ship, and everyone knows like what it really is.
It is what it is.
I had to add some like thrusting play features on the front, so there's like this. The bulb is like the end of the Macy mech.
Yeah.
Like the ultimate Macy or whatever has this like giant like phallic ball with like spikes hanging out. So like it's got like a battering ram as well. And like I said, I built a Aaron mech, which I actually enjoy. And
Yeah, I think.
I enjoy it.
All of a sudden, I was like, "Oh fuck, dude!" I was at a wedding, and I'm getting text messages from Aaron. I'm like, "This is so dope. I gotta text the other dudes right now." So I'm at this fucking girl's wedding. I'm in the bathroom texting my dorky Lego friends. Aaron's building fucking mecha. It's awesome.
So yeah, I personally like the mech way more, and he's got like this giant sort of like crossbow, and I got to use like an orange wing.
Dude, I totally
Like
cribbed that from you. As soon as I saw that, I was like, "My ship needs wings. There needs to be a wing."
So like
detail."
I really had a good time doing that, and immediately finished that, and the con scope was so fucking strong. And this is like 3 days before con. I built 2 more mecha that are on display right now. So
I hope you
That's
take
good.
us in mecha because there's not much.
I don't know,
over
Carter,
Mecca's thin though this
like
year.
me or
Yeah.
Carter,
yeah.
Carter could easily like. Was it last year or the year before? You didn't even have a mock card or a
I think
name
it's like my
or
first year
anything?
here. It's like 2012.
Yeah.
He didn't do a mock card. He drops this thing on the mech table, and like during awards time, they're like, "We don't know who did it, but it's this thing."
Question marks. Yeah.
The Black Knight.
So yeah, like Mecha seems major like underrepresented. I think one year like we as a group should like
Do a mecha fly-in.
We
a walk-in.
we do a walk-in or like some kind of like scene. We could do a real bare bones or whatever.
Yeah.
But like Mecha needs some love. Well, yours will walk. You'll have
Yeah,
make
well,
like.
so I'm-
It'll
You
walk.
hold like the gunny where you
Spoilers.
platform.
Yeah.
On the Mecha.
Yours
Yeah.
will walk over to that.
What I
I've
really
never
like
built
about
the
Check it
mecha
over.
before, so
Yeah.
you know.
what I really like about the display is that there's like a variety of different type of vehicles. Because when we first talked about this, it was supposed to just be exclusive ship fly-in, and then I was like, "Oh, I'll make Macy a mech," and then I tried to convince Morrow to build a fucking mech. I was like, "Just make a horse mech, dude. Then we'll have ground support." And he was like, "Fuck you, I'm not doing that." And then he was like, "Look at my motorized landing horse gear," and I was like, "Oh shit." And I was really happy you did a ground vehicle because I feel like it's a fairly balanced display.
Yeah.
It feels like
you go
it.
back up at the hover. He's got
Oh,
the,
yeah.
the Ryan.
Ryan.
Yeah. Oh, shout out to Ryan.
I would.
Speaking of Axel, and fucking trying to fit Axel into things and how hard that is.
Yeah. Can't be done.
Dude, fucking shout out to Shin, who's not here. He's doing some other thing. But Shin built a giant king scepter that's 4 feet tall, and he also integrated Zach's sign into a 6 foot wide wall or whatever that's behind all of our shit. So it's fucking rad, man. It's like the display looks exactly kind of how I want it to be, which is sort of like an 80s catalog toy shot
Yeah.
of like, here's the line of the action.
Collect them
fleet.
all.
Yeah, like
Gotta catch 'em all.
everyone
There's a
is,
couple
and there's
of-
different kinds of vehicles. and
Couple
shit.
other-
They're all like ultimate.
It's gotta meet all the.
version.
It meets all the price points. You gotta have
Yeah.
something meet every price point,
Well,
right?
speaking of the small sets, Paz. did a
Yeah.
couple of awesome
Yeah,
mechs.
Paz did some little
And
max.
then,
which is
Will-
dope.
Will, shout out to Will.
Will
Yeah.
Hafner brought the bad guys, really. We kind of, it's weird. The bad guys are one of the best parts of Next Nights, but we kind of skipped on them. But then Will brought the Book of Monsters.
3 books of monsters.
Yeah.
Three Books of Monsters.
Yeah.
And they're all super clever. Like,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
really
they-
like going with the Rancor hand.
Yeah.
Like, creeping out.
Yeah.
Like,
And the other funny thing was on Tuesday night, I went on Flickr to send Will a Flickr mail about whether or not he wanted the Bug Swarm back. And the Bug Swarm from Moonbase, I had it. I wanted to own it, but wasn't sure if he was cool with that. And he had left a thing on a post on the Flickr stream, the Next Night's Flying
Oh, the group.
chat. Yeah, he was like, I'm working tonight at the Lego store. If anybody's in town yet, come by. So I called him at work. And I was like, dude, do you want the bugs? He's like, yeah, I want them to be crawling out of the book. And I was like, done, they're there. But then he sold them to me, so I'm going to,
It's like for the fourth year in a row now we've had a bug swarm.
No,
Just
second.
The second that we've had
Yeah.
those particular bugs.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
There were similar bugs.
Based on their
Space Nine.
similar.
SpaceCon was buggy.
Yeah.
I don't think I want to reuse them for another con, but
Yeah.
I mean,
But-
they're probably working next year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
we'll see.
Spoilers.
But anyway, I got because I was gonna let him have them. I was just gonna let he was just gonna take them back, and then we were laying them out on the table last night. And I was like, oh, I fucking love these bugs.
They're great bugs. They're
Yeah.
very Samurai Jack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
dude, totally
Yeah.
Samurai Jack.
Yeah, they're just black with red eyes. Just
Yeah.
hordes of red eyes.
Yeah.
And they're not that great if you had like 6, but there's like 180
Mm-hmm.
bugs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll wrap this up in a little bit, but before we get out of here, you guys want to talk about like other models that are at the con that are blowing your mind? Anything to speak to?
Dinotopia. I can't remember the name of the guy, but
It's Sean Snyder.
Sean Snyder.
Yeah.
Sean Snyder did the Dinotopia Brontosaur Triceratops like fire team, and it looks real pretty. And he also did that like
Oh,
the-
you fucked up.
No, I didn't. Did I
the
close
Maybe.
it?
facade.
What? Did I close it? Hold on. Technical difficulties.
It's either live and uncut or not.
The light's still on, so I think we're
All I
fine.
did was just everything's cool.
Oh, you didn't break
Okay.
it.
Okay. So
We're
he
back.
So he
We
did
never
some.
left. We never. What he said.
He did some Dinotopia like architecture with like awesome like Styracosaur like fountains and really cool stuff. So that's blowing my mind. And then is it Drew who did
Yeah.
the floating island micro scale?
Oh yeah, that's
We
sweet.
got
Like
like,
this-
a nuclear reactor.
Oh,
Yeah,
The
yeah,
nuclear
yeah.
reactor
Yeah.
with Skullface?
Yeah, that is
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
That's a cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so like those are
There's
the
shit
two
underneath.
things that I can think of. I don't know. Those kids who did the cyberpunk with all the monorail,
Yes.
parts of it are
There's a
very, very strong.
Singular.
That's a single kid?
One
Yeah.
kid.
Then
his
his
mom.
mom helps.
Okay.
He said, I talked to him. He said he does most of it.
Okay, so like I gotta say, like that makes a lot of sense.
The
'cause some
container
parts,
stack.
Container stack is really
well,
good.
like the mechanism for his monorail. So he's
Yeah.
got it. The whole thing is there's like these monorails going around.
I watched
And it'll,
Mario
like-
and him like nerd out.
Yeah. So like I want to pick his brain and figure out how he did it because like a monorail will show up and like pick something up, drive to the end, then come back and then drop it off and just go in perpetuity. And it looks pretty cool. Yeah, like you said, the container ship is dope.
Yeah.
There's a building. It's got the greenhouse on the top of it.
The Asian garden.
Right, and the layer below that layer is like it's a black layer that's with like dark red details and it's textured really weirdly.
Yeah.
And he said it was meant to texture like an organic, like shifting surface kind of thing when I talked to him.
That's cool.
So yeah,
Cool.
those are the three things I can think of. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's a castle that I really like, and at first I was like, do I only like this thing because it's tall? Because it is.
Because it's 12 feet
It's
in the
the-
sky.
Apart
Yeah.
from the Space Needle, it's the tallest thing at the convention. The
It's,
guy.
it's taller than the dude's
It feels-
backdrop, which I think is a bit of.
It feels
Yeah.
like about 2 feet too tall.
The guy said that he'd never actually seen it completed. Like,
I
because he didn't.
actually
he built
wondered
it
about
in
it.
a
I was
room
like, do you fucking stand on a ladder
that was
when you
not
built
tall
this?
enough to actually completely assemble the whole thing. So he like did it in sections and made sure all the different sections fit together, and then just
God.
brought it here.
That hurts my brain.
Yeah. Anyways,
Yeah.
it's super tall, but it's also really well done.
It's
Like,
really nice.
The
It's
details
really nice.
are really
It's crazy.
cool.
Yeah.
It's all kinds of cool. Like it's not just some like. There's another castle right next to it, which I also kind of like, but it's really just like repetitive and generic, just like the same wall section over and over and over again. And this one, like, he put a lot of thought into making each section of the castle different. You know,
Yeah,
it's like,
and there's a cool airship dock
Yeah, there's
to
an
it,
airship
so it's got like a
dock.
nice sense of scale,
Yeah.
and it does that thing like, but the classic cool castle thing where it's asymmetrical, you know. So it's like,
Yeah.
it gives it kind of like more of a
Mhm.
dynamic
Yeah.
instead of just like here are 4 squat towers.
Yeah. I'm amazed it hasn't fallen over yet.
Yeah.
It's
From what I
a
can
little-
tell,
little-
It has
Yeah.
a little bit of wobble
Yep.
towards the
Yeah, you
top.
can see that. Yeah, there's like a gold minifig at the very top that. You know,
Every
time someone walks by.
Put me back in
Yeah.
the box.
Yeah.
I hate it.
But yeah, because there's windows in it all the way up, and I'm like looking in, I'm like, no, this is just brick all the way up. I don't see any Technic beams going up the center or anything, any, you know, steel
Yeah.
rods. Wow. There was a bicycle
Oh,
That's
yeah,
Mel.
Mel.
That's Mel
Yeah.
Fellini. I saw
Yeah.
that one best in show at BrickCon this year.
Okay, yeah.
And like it's
It's
nice.
really
It's
good.
really
It's
nice.
really
It's
good.
really nice. And she's a
Yeah.
sweetheart too. So
Yeah.
like you were pretty pumped when she won it. She walked away. She's pretty stoked.
Nice.
Nice. Yeah. Trying to think if there's anything else.
There's some cool microscale ships right next to us.
Those are,
Yeah,
Yeah.
They're doing like the kind of collab fly-in thing. So they got a big space gate, like a big portal that the bad guys are coming through, which is it's a really cool concept.
Yeah, it's
and that ring is fucking gorgeous.
Yeah.
So I look at that and I'm like, oh, that's
Yeah.
pretty tight.
Yeah, there's a coalition of ships of different stripes
Yeah.
coming into attack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing I was talking to Olsen about it, and this might be, I might be giving away their secrets and spoilers, but he's like, yeah, so like this year, like the aliens are coming out of the portal and they're attacking the ships. He's like, next year we're gonna do another one,
Flip
but it's
it.
gonna use the same ships, but it's gonna be like the next year in the
Mm.
battle.
Oh,
and, like,
cool.
the aliens won this battle, and so they're like infesting other ships and stuff.
Mm.
And,
Oh,
like,
rad,
attacking a
rad.
space station or something like that.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
yeah. Sorry,
It's-
sorry to bust your.
It's a cool
yeah.
concept where you like, just like here's a portal, anything can come through it.
Yeah.
And then it's
Hey
like,
Brandon, I'm eating with your cupcakes.
Damn it! I was gonna do that.
Damn it! Damn it!
The other
I already had 3 today.
Anybody else want to talk about any funny fucking con stories or experiences?
Mocks you like.
Yeah. Events.
it's
No,
been a good
after
time.
hours.
It's
I'm not really impressed.
There hasn't been
No,
anything
no,
wacky. I did hang out
Sir
with
Brandon
Brom.
has spoken.
I did hang out with Brom the first night here, and Brom got after it a little hard, which is kind of surprised me.
You're gonna talk
It's,
about this on air.
Spilling
Oh,
people's
no,
secrets.
I'm
I'm just saying. We had a good time. We had a good time. We did drink the worst beer I've ever had, which is called the Irish Death. Which I was like, yeah, there's reason this is named this terrible name. This is terrible beer.
Make you want to die?
Yeah, I wanted to die.
Even
Brom
though-
definitely wanted to die. On that note,
Yeah.
Thank you guys for watching. There'll be some more. There's maybe one before this, hopefully.
Cheers to BrickCon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks to all these homies for coming out.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Landing Company.